welcome one more week to CTO Insider, this series of workshops to learn, to lead, to learn how is the life of a CTO from different perspectives, different areas that you need to touch in order to succeed as a CTO. This week is important. You know that it's a bi-weekly series, and last week we didn't have a proper session. We were really busy with the launch of the new branding and the promotional video of the first master that we are launching, and it was really impossible to dedicate more time to preparing this session. So I hope that with a bit more bandwidth, the session is going as we were thinking in our mind. Alfons and me, when we were discussing about how to do a live coaching session in Zoom, like how it should work. So let's see if it works today. You know, today Alfons will do this live coaching. Alfons is a leadership coach, but he has been as well senior software engineering, and he has been as well CTO. In fact, he is already consulting to different companies as like the CTO or the head of technology of the company to help them avoid kind of pitfalls related to leadership, communication, management, etc. And we will use today all his knowledge and his expertise as a coach. So the stage is yours, Alfons. It's your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So yes, actually, I was a developer. I'm an engineer myself, and I was developing for more than 15 years. And then my team needed a lead, and my boss gave me the lead title. And then you start learning by yourself, and you understand that everything you've done is worth nothing because when you're a lead, nothing has to do with technology, right? So in the end, I became lead and director of engineering and CTO and so on and so forth. And I spent 8 years leading teams until a year ago, I built my own company. And now, like Alvaro said, I actually coach different leadership levels, all in technology, mostly in technology. I have CEOs, I have CTOs, I have team leads, I have directors of engineering, VPs of engineering. And what I do is I do coaching sessions. And today, I am going to coach these 4 guys. I'm going to coach Sergio, Ángel, Guillermo, and Teresa. This is what they would expect from me. So when you see a meeting, when I am observing a meeting, I can only process just one person because there's a lot of information in a meeting that you have to give feedback on. But since this is pre-recorded, I'll be coaching all of them. Now, here's the interesting part. We put these 4 people together. They all 4 are leads, CTOs or senior managers. And the goal that I gave them was to help each other. You guys have a lot of experience. You can help each other. Please do it. Help each other. And we recorded the meeting for about, I think it was about 15 minutes. So it's a 15 minutes meeting. And now you'll see what I would do if I were your coach. So if you joined the Alvaro's program and I was one of your coaches, this is what you would expect from me. All right, let's see if this works.
Yeah, let me say that Alfons has a lot of tech devices in order to do webinars and live streaming. So he will not be sharing the screen, but rather using his own camera to show the video. So what I recommend is that you pin Alfons or use the speaker view so you can see him as big as possible, right? Instead of the gallery. That's the only topic. Other topic is that if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, because at the end of the analysis of the meeting, we will be answering those questions, and it's important to have there so I can, as a facilitator, I can go through them. Nothing else.
Nice. Let's go. First of all, thank you to the 4 of you, Sergio, Ángel, Guillermo, and Teresa. because you're going to get exposed here. I'm going to expose all the mistakes that I think that are happening there. And let me tell you something. I watched this live, and I couldn't keep up with everything, of course. And actually, I haven't watched the video again. So I'll be doing this live for the second time. And we will be able to pause and analyze and go back and forth and so on. So thank you. But in exchange, you will get a gift. The gift that I will give you, right? Which is knowing what you're doing that could be better. So let's jump right in.
Yeah. Who wants to share any issue?
There we go. We already have information here. The first 30 seconds to a minute in a meeting are the most important ones. You're going to see who doesn't feel comfortable with silences, who is the one that wants to stay back, or who is the one that is going to bring up the problem. In this case, Teresa is the person probably that doesn't feel comfortable with silence. That tells me as a lead that I need to be watching when she speaks, because just because of her being uncomfortable with silences, she's going to fill up the gaps with information that might not be important for the meeting, and probably even interrupting some of the people. So let's see how it goes.
Your challenge that you have in your workplace.
There we go. We have it. You can see here the smiles, right? She has a big smile. Angel has a big smile. They two don't.
Alvaro has a big smile as well.
Yeah. So probably
one thing, Alfons, sorry to disturb you, but I think the volume is too low. I don't know for the others. Yeah, I think it's too low.
Yeah, the difference between the volumes of your voice and the video is too big. Yeah, the video is too low.
Okay, sorry. Maybe the thing is that I have my microphone right here, and this is a YouTube video. I don't know how to do this. So
maybe if you turn down the gain on your microphone, then that'll balance it out, and we can turn up the overall volume.
Turn down the gain, you said, or turn it up?
So if you turn down the gain on your microphone, then it will make the volume more even with the YouTube, because the YouTube is way quieter than your microphone.
Okay.
That's okay. Thanks.
All right. Let's see if it works. So here you can see that Angel and Teresa both have a big smile on their faces, right? Whereas Guillermo and Sergio don't. This means that most likely Angel will have the same pattern that Teresa will, and he will feel the voids. He will feel the silences. And also he might be seen as too talkative, meaning that he might even interrupt with information that it's not relevant. So maybe I'm wrong. Whereas Guillermo is probably different. He is the one that would like to speak first and go first. We'll see.
We can present shortly. So I'm Guillermo, General Manager.
You saw it right there, right? You saw it when she started speaking, and then Guillermo interrupted immediately and said, I think this is more important. We haven't presented ourselves. So I want to say my piece. And then she interrupted him, and you can see now his face, now he's disappointed because he feels he was interrupted, right? So here's what I want you to do. All right. Teresa, I don't know if Teresa around? I don't know. Well, if she's not, she can watch the video afterwards. Teresa, for the next time, just count. When there is a silence, count. You don't have to fill in the void. You don't have to fill the emptiness, because silence means different things for different people. For you, it may indicate anger or being uncomfortable, but for Guillermo, it's time to think or time to say something. So don't feel the need to fill in the emptiness. Just breathe and count. And Guillermo, for you as well, I know you want to say your piece. I know you want to express what you want, what you think, what you want to say, and you won't listen to anything else until the other person has listened to you. You need to work on that, okay? Because Your idea is good, a good idea. Maybe what she was telling was a better idea. So just listen to them.
I'm from in Spain. We are an IT consultancy firm. So I drive the business unit in Spain.
I'm Angel. I'm team lead and technical product owner in Dog Planet, or also called Doctoralia here in Spain. Nice to meet you.
You see, nice to meet you. He's a people pleaser for sure.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
this is Teresa. Sorry.
No, sorry.
Overlapping. Go.
Okay, I'm Sergio. I'm CTO of Polaro. We are trying to manage we are trying to change the way that people manage these subscriptions because we are moving in a subscription world. There are a lot of subscriptions that we have, and maybe there are times where we don't know how many subscriptions we have, and we'll try to solve this problem.
All right. So here's the thing. You already guys see, right? Hopefully the volume is now okay. Let's see, Sergio. I'm surprised that you were third, because by the looks of it, you seem like the guy that's away from the meeting, right? You have a camera, which is probably a mobile phone. You are way away from that, meaning that you're probably less likely to interact. So I was surprised that you were the third one. I would have expected you to be the fourth. In any case, you see how you presented, how you introduced yourself. Hi, my name is Sergio. I work for Polaro, and then we are trying to do something. Dude, this is your presentation card. You don't try things. You do things, right? So here's what wait a minute. I'm sorry. So here's what I want you to work on. You need to work on that, and you need to work on summarizing that into just one single sentence, okay? So when you say we're trying to fix the subscriptions, how people manage their subscriptions, because some people have problems with that or some other things, dude, you have like a sentence. Just put it all together, work on that, something like, I am Sergio, I work for Polaro, we changed the way that people manage their subscriptions. Done, one sentence, clear, effective. So work on that.
How to manage these subscriptions.
Okay, so well, I think I'm the last one. This is Tere or Teresa, and I work in a consultancy firm called EY. I'm the tech manager of a team.
You can see here. What do you see? Sorry to pick up on you, man. You're distracted. You're probably thinking on something to say next, or maybe bringing some other problems. But when somebody is speaking directly to you and you're looking away, it breaks the connection. So try not to do that. Try to stay focused when somebody else is exposing themselves, is presenting themselves, is introducing themselves. Okay? Just be focused on that. It's fine if somebody's pushing information, is just giving you a chit chat. It's fine for you to look up to your mobile phone or write notes or look away. That's fine. But when somebody's exposing themselves, when they're presenting you with a problem or who are they, don't do that. that breaks the connection.
Team of around 50 people, and I work mainly in the hospitality sector for delivering technological projects, mostly on regards with web development and app development. Again,
it's fine. It's a fine presentation. I mean, these guys are pros here. I'm picking up on everything I see, but these guys are senior managers. They are CTOs. So I am picking up on very, very little things that you have to improve on. But as a general rule, you won't see the problems that you would see with junior people or people that are just new in the workforce and things like that. These guys know what they're doing. But again, just try to summarize things. Try to think about what you're going to say, put it in one sentence, maybe two, and say that, right? Your introduction is very important. It's how people is going to know who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do, right? Work on that. That's your presentation.
Okay. Well, somebody of you want to raise a problem that you have in your day-to-day work?
There you have it. Angel, fill in the blank.
Okay, maybe I can start. I have one on top of my head.
And there you have it. Guillermo being the first one.
Maybe it's not a day-to-day one, but a problem and a concern we have, and this is not only for me, also at board level, for my bosses.
Okay, here you made something that at a very high level, you are finding a way out, right? You are not assuming responsibility, Guillermo, here. When you say, this is a concern that I have, and also my bosses, so maybe it's not just me. No, this is a concern that I got, right? I want to work on that, because that could either mean that it's not your concern, but you have to work on it because your bosses told you to work on it. Or maybe you're trying to blame somebody else in the future if something comes up, which is protecting you, right? No, assume your responsibility. Hey, this is the problem I want to work on. I think that because of A, B, and C, this is going to happen. So can you guys give me ideas? Let's move on.
That we have the concern that when this situation passes, the COVID, the forced remote passes, people will just suddenly all rotate at once. You know, everyone will flee and change the jobs at once because they are getting burned, they are disconnected from the teams or the company culture. So it's and I'm concerned that we are not engaging as we usually do at the office. We were flexible with the remotes before the COVID. Right now it's just moving from 25% to 100%, but still we are not a full remote company, so we are facing this challenge. And I don't know if you guys have the same concern as me, or maybe you don't have it. Or
there you go, Guillermo. More things. I'm picking up on you because you are the one speaking. When you're asking questions, when you're asking for help or for feedback, don't ask closed questions. Don't say questions that can be answered with a yes or a no, because otherwise a guy that doesn't want to talk to you is going to say yes or no, and then you wasted your time, right? A better question would have been, what do you guys think? Or maybe, any ideas? How did you guys solve that? You know, open questions, questions that let people tell you what they believe instead of, this is happening to you or not? Yes, no, those are closed questions. When you're asking for ideas, open. Questions need to be open.
How you plan to tackle this?
Well, I have questions about your concern. I don't know if you already have some signals that leads you to be concerned like that, something that you notice in the team? Or
that's a great question. You are facing him with reality. You're telling him, is this just a feeling, or are you backing this up with facts, right? That's a great question, but you gotta be careful with the person that you're doing this to, because they might get offended. And you're a people pleaser, so watch that out. But that's a great question.
Or why do you think that will happen?
You said why right there? Let me watch it again.
Or why do you think that will happen?
Why? Why is a dangerous question? Be careful with this one. If you ask why, she's going to go to the past. You'd never want to go to the past. The past is the past. My client is not going to be able to change the past. I'm not going to be able to change the past. Nobody's going to be able to change the past. Ask, what do you want this for? Or what makes you think it? But if you ask why, the person can answer you with very difficult answers. I don't think this is going to be the case, because this is a pretty narrow problem. But when you ask for why, be careful. They may be answering with emotions of the past, and that's going to bring up a lot of bad things to you. So what for? How do you know that? Those are things that are better questions to ask. But great question there.
I don't know. It's a concern. The concern comes because I see much less interaction of the members of the team. So my team is not as big as your, Teresa. Is less. We are 15 people. But still in the office we usually have like a very interactive environment.
Did you say but right there? I think you said, I don't know, but. Be careful with the buts, because what you're actually saying is what you are telling me is wrong, and then I am not going to accept the truth, right? It's like, or maybe a possible truth, like, I don't know, but, and then everything before the but is worthless. So be careful with the but.
People were talking to each other and sharing progress, even across projects. I mean, people that don't work with each other, they share knowledge, they share lunch, they share coffees, beers. And right now, nothing of that is happening. We try to create this coffee time in the schedule, but has not worked out. And we have tried to create like online games, things like that, but really it's and I don't know. So that's and there's a lot of interactions not happening, if at all.
Okay, another thing, you are explaining way too much. Again, this is I see a common problem, right? You're explaining what you tried, what you didn't try, what you want, what you didn't want, what happened, what didn't happen. Ask for help, man. The goal of this meeting is to help each other out. Like, hey, I am afraid that people are going to leave as soon as COVID's done. Any ideas? That's it. One sentence. Very packed.
That's why I think it's a lot of time.
But it's have you had like one meetings with all your team, or it's just like a feeling like, okay, maybe these afterwork or these team activities are not working, but maybe still people are motivated and it's like they don't want to stay more time connected to.
You see, here's what happens. You're trying to fix the problem. And you're trying to fix the problem with not enough information. When you said this worked, this didn't work, then Teresa obviously is going to answer to that. And she's going to answer with things like, but are you sure that that's true? Maybe it's that they don't want to stay longer. And you're going to go into a debate that's not going to be helpful for anybody. What you want to do here is ask for help, give me one or two ideas, spit out the ideas, you smile, you say thank you, you move on. That's efficiency. That's how you move a meeting faster.
From one screen.
Yeah.
For me, it happens also that afterwards, we are always having this after my working time. And
there's a common thing. This is a common thing that everybody does. You talk about the problem that you had when right now, the only one that has been exposed is Guillermo. Guillermo is the one explaining the problem. He has the issue, right? It's not about Teresa. It's about Guillermo. But when you explain something, it's like, oh, we had this experience, which is fine, but it would be much more efficient when you summarize that and give them the idea. You smile, you say thank you, move on. You don't have to explain yourself.
I'm working like 22 hours per week. So it's like, okay, I don't want to stay more on my laptop and I want to go out. And so we have now this time now that the lockdown, that you must be at home at 10 p.m. So maybe people prefer to go around and have fresh air than stay on the laptop. Like having like beers with somebody. I don't know if, like for these questions,
yeah. I mean, and for me it's the same. So I don't like to.
You see, this is chit chat. For me, the same. It might be, it might not be, it could be some other people. You're wasting time here. You're wasting time. If you want to speed this up, you go to straight to goal, right? I would have changed the question, the main one.
Stay on the computer even after being the whole day on the computer. So I think that's why people like to go to beers, meetups, because they disconnect from the screen. But I do one-to-ones. None of them, they have raised this, that they are getting burned. I know that people is working much more than they usually do. It's
good that you came back to the point. That's a very pro move. When you feel that the conversation has drifted into something that it's not what it has to be, and you bring it back. And that's a great move right there.
That just from the project's performance, people is connected, not 24/7 and really 20%. So yeah, I don't have any signs to try to like someone tell me, hey, that these people is getting burned out, and but it's just a gut feeling. It's nothing real. Maybe will not happen.
So your thought is that there are less interaction between people, right?
That's great. You are confirming his point of view. That's one of the most powerful things you can do as a manager, as a lead in a meeting. When somebody says something, and you say it back to them so that they confirm that that is right. If that person say that's right, it means that you are on point and you're connected to the person. And actually, Guillermo's profile loves that. So great move right there, Sergio.
Okay, so well, in Polaro, we are fully remote. And to solve that, we have a daily meeting at the beginning of the day. That is 30 minutes. And we use this time to talk about the things that you did yesterday, the previous day, and also to make some jokes in between people, just to recover this connection between the team. And
again, same problem with Teresa. I'm going back to the same. You're talking about your problem, not his problem. You can summarize that in a couple of sentences and say, hey, why don't you have a day in the morning where you talk about things? Done.
Also, we have some team building that is more or less that, I don't know, put a music in Spotify and we choose the better song you choose or you put. And it's like a classification and it's like a joke. It's just to have an activity where we are all together and we can discuss about the music. It's fun.
So great. This is the first couple of ideas that we've got here, and we're 7 minutes 38 seconds into the video. Just subtract the 38 seconds from the beginning, and you got 7 minutes to get one idea. How much efficient would it be if you started saying, "Hey, I'm afraid that people is going to leave. Give me 1 or 2 ideas for the future, please." And you answer, "Why don't you have a day in the morning where you talk about what you did yesterday and you also have fun?" That's it. Thank you very much. 30 seconds, done, right? That's something that you could work on.
So here in Polaro, we are solving this problem in that way. Yeah, that's a good idea. We have...
Whoa, that's a dangerous that's a dangerous rabbit hole you went right there. So you said that's a good idea. You haven't been asked to judge. I have been asked to judge this video. It's fine for me to say this is a good or bad idea from my point of view. It's not for you to say that's a good or bad idea. Because when you enter into judgments, the other person is less likely to give you more ideas. I don't remember how did that go, but I am assuming that if you say that's a good idea a couple of times, Sergio's not gonna give you any other idea because he's gonna feel that you're gonna judge his ideas. So do not judge. Don't say that's good, because most likely that's good. It's not that bad. But I'm assuming that at some point you will say that's a bad idea, or we cannot do that, or I'm going to explain why you're wrong, which is what you're actually saying. When you say no, but however, what you're actually saying is, let me explain you why you're wrong and your idea is worthless. That's basically what you're saying. So do not judge. Smile, say thank you. I haven't seen a single thank you till now, haven't seen a single smile about it. It's like, hey, thank you for your idea. And then you do whatever you feel right.
Consultancy, so we have different projects. So each project, they are having their own dailies. But we don't have a daily as an office. Yeah. Okay.
You see, you're explaining why his idea could or could not work. That's not for him to decide. That's a waste of time.
We have a daily of the whole team, and we are 15 people.
Okay. Nice.
Nice. Another judgment. Be careful there.
Yeah, we are also a lot of people, and when we used to be in the office, we had a lot of interaction between us. And now everybody's aware that the interactions have completely changed. Well, and we are officially starting to be remote friendly. So after COVID finishes, we will still be remote if people want, and other people will go to the office. So we will face a completely new challenge. Yeah. And something that
are you asking for help here or not? Because it's not clear to me. You're talking about something that's happening to you. We are going to move towards 100% remote. It's going to be a challenge that we will face. What to do with this information, right? Is it relevant for the topic? If it's not, do not say it. If it's relevant, Say it. Hey, we're going to move towards 100% remote. You guys have ideas? Help me out here. Ask for help if that's relevant. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
We discovered that was super interesting when you are doing one-to-ones with people, it's taking the advantage of being remote also for this kind of offsite or team building things. That means that if you are remote, you will be asynchronous sometimes, asynchronous communication, you will be more flexible and taking that into consideration also for planning some activities. So maybe trying to emulate the office hours inside the remote work won't work, but because
you see, it won't work. You're judging. That's not ideal, right? Why? Why are you asking that, man? If I tell you this, it will work. If I tell you this, won't work. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You're wasting energy. You are wasting time. You're wasting communication. You want to go straight to the point. Give ideas. Give them the idea. Why? Just do that. And the other person smiles, says thank you, and go to the next idea.
For example, now people, maybe if they feel tired at the middle of the day, they will do some rest. They will rest 2 hours.
You see, too talkative. You may feel like too talkative. Also, you can see here that Sergio is also switching screens by the light. You can see it by the light. That's probably, if I don't know if Angel was paying attention to that, but if that's the case, that might offend him in any way. So just be careful with that.
Maybe, and they will continue later. So maybe also for doing these team building activities, you need to be also more flexible. Instead of saying, hey, we will meet at 6 p.m. because you are finishing your office work.
Yeah.
And maybe adapt a little bit also the kind of activity for being at other hours. Maybe you can do it, these things also in the middle of the morning, for example.
Now that's a great idea. That's a way to put it. You can do that, and maybe you can do it during the mid-time or whatever. Done. That's a great way to put it.
But if it feels better for the team. We were doing that, playing some video games sometimes. For example, we are playing Among Us, and it's super funny because we have a lot of interaction there. And while we are playing with people from Brazil, and when we are playing, maybe it's in the morning in Brazil. So they are being flexible with these times now that they are working at home.
Nice. Very good ideas. I don't know if you can.
Very good ideas. You judge them again. Thank you is the word that you're looking for. Smiling and saying thank you. I haven't heard a single thank you.
Bring some other challenge because I think we will run out of time very quickly.
I would like to add something related with your problem, no? That it's also communication, no? Like from my team, I got some complaints now that people are creating like private Slack channels, you know, so maybe you think that there is less communication in the team, but it's that communication is happening privately, you know, so it's also how can you get that the team sees that it's important that maybe these casual conversations, it's important also that they happen in open spaces so everybody could be informed about what's happening, no? Because now we don't have like this coffee corner or like I'm close to you, so I'm listening to that.
Gain some problem here, Teresa. Just summarize it, optimize, right? It's like you're explaining everything and what's happening and will it happen and why not. And hey, just have all the conversations in public channels. Smile, say thank you, move on, right?
So I don't know.
There's something that I read about that when a team in this Slack or
there's something that I hate. That's a dangerous word, my friend.
we use Teams. When the communication is more on private than in public, there's something wrong. I mean, what you even a percentage like.
You see, you're judging. There's something wrong. There's something. You don't pass judgment. They are there to help you out. They're not there to share, you know, what you think is good or what may or may not happen. They're there to help you out. Learn as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and help each other out. That's the goal of the meeting.
Most of the communication should be on the public channels, and that's a good sign. And we're not having that. I don't know why. No people is afraid, or I don't know.
Again, are you asking for help? This is not happening and I don't know why. Is it relevant? What do you want to do with that sentence? Are you asking for help? Do you guys know why this is not happening? Could you tell me? If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get help, right? Also, you can see, Sergio, what I said in the beginning, he's far away, right? He's like in the background. He's going to be the one speaking the least. And that's probably going to do with also the, the layout that he has and the implication that he has. So I would suggest that when you go in a meeting, just go all in, my man, is go there, do your best. Otherwise, say no. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. We'll do it some other day.
Well, I don't think that they are afraid. No, just to reply that. I don't think that they are afraid, but it's like they feel like, I don't know, like the team of the three of the four, like.
You see that? I don't think that is the case. It might or it might not think. You're wasting time. It's ping-ponging.
Very close. And they don't see that this is important, because finally they move from discussing from more private things to things related with the project, no?
Yeah, it's all mixed.
Also, sometimes something that is working for us is starting the meetings and things like that with informal chat. So while you wait for people or other peers while they are joining, you can start breaking the ice with a random topic. Not related with work, but maybe, yesterday I saw this film and I liked a lot, and it's working quite well. And we started doing that, and something that we finally did is that sometimes people are doing random coffees and sharing some Zoom links in random times, in random channels, and people are joining because they already are used to use Zoom, not only for meetings, also for doing informal chats.
You see, you keep explaining yourself, same pattern. That's a pattern I would work on, right? It's great that you're giving ideas now. It's I'm almost 13 minutes in, and we got about 5 to 6 ideas for him to work out. So that's actually pretty good.
And I think that we arrived to that point thanks to starting some meetings with informal conversation.
Yeah, that's difficult.
There you have it. That's difficult. That's a judgment. Probably he will not give you any more ideas just because of that sentence that you said right there. Because you judged an idea that you were given and you're now about to explain why he is wrong, which means that his implication is going to go down. Don't judge. Smile. Say thank you. Nobody has said thank you.
Because there was a lot of interaction happening in an office that are not planned. They are just happen. Someone helping another one, some mentoring, some coaching between the guys. That is not planned, so it's not in any agenda, but it just happens. How to make that happen in the online world? Yes.
You see, when you say that's a good idea, you blocked Sergio away, and now that you said that's difficult, you blocked Angel away. The only one remaining is Teresa.
If they don't talk in public, that will not happen.
Yeah, in fact, I'm concerned about something that is quite related with what you say. I want to know your opinion. It's that
There we go. He changed it. I want to know your opinion now. I'm not going to help you. I want you to help me.
I told you we are going to be remote friendly from now on, but people will choose. And in the one-to-ones on the surveys, what we send to the team, I think that 50% of people will work half-time office, half-time remote, and half of the team will be 100% remote. And I think that the big challenge will be that day when half of the people will be in the office and half of the people remote, because I think that nowadays for us is working quite well because everybody is remote and we are putting all the conversations in public channels and things like that. But what will happen when people will speak face to face? And if they forgot to write to other people that are completely remote, I don't know if you thought about this or if...
Yeah, close question. Same mistake that Guillermo made. First, again, the thing of summarizing, just keep it simple, one sentence, go, and or a couple of sentences. And now it's a closed question. What do you guys think, yes or no, right?
If you would face that in the future?
I've read about this in the world pre-COVID. In the pre-COVID world, there was a challenge for extended teams, for distributed teams, not to treat the remote people differently than your on-site people.
Again, I read about this, yes, whatever. This is not helping, right? What's the idea that you give him? What's the idea? What is he is gonna get out of your brain, right? What do you got from me? It's like, don't do it. Force people to always leave a message in a forum or in Slack or in a thread or whatever. That's the idea. You smile, you say thank you, you move on.
Because then the person that is remote is not considered for anything, is not like a second citizen.
Whoops, sorry. I'm not gonna say it anymore.
Of the company, and that's a risk. So you should, when you have the team remote, in my opinion, you should treat everyone as remote. Like everything should be, for instance, if you're going to go for a coffee, maybe you just invite the guys that are remote.
Don't get me wrong. The ideas are fantastic. You're giving really good ideas. It's the way that you're presenting these ideas that could be improved.
Or I don't know, if you're making an after work, if they live in the same city, just invite them, let them know that they're going for a beer, that kind of thing. Because the beers are improvised most of the time. Just let them know. But it's difficult.
Again, you're judging even yourself.
Yeah. So we don't know if we're going to be full remote or not. We just, for now.
You saw right there, Teresa, that you needed to fill in the silence. Breathe, let people talk. If you have something to say, say it. If you don't, shut up.
Now we are very passive in this matter. So we just told the guys, this is the office. If you want to go, you go. If you don't, that's fine. There's no, and we don't know really what's the number. We will see with time what will be the shape of our company, because we don't care really.
You see, you gave him an idea, but you actually didn't, because you explained why you did, or why you think that's going to be a good idea, and why is that difficult or not. So you are not actually putting things easier for Angel. Right? It's like, just treat everybody as if they were in remote, even if they're in the office. Done. Any questions? That's it. You don't need to explain why or why not, or what do you think that's going to be difficult or easy. That will be judged by Angel in this scenario, because Angel is the person that we're helping. So he will be the one making these actions in his company. He will decide what to do. So just give them the ideas, smile, say thank you, and he will do whatever he feels best. You don't have to do his job. He needs to do his job.
A couple of minutes left.
Oh, sorry. Okay. That was myself in the video. I'm sorry.
Sorry, because
No, I wanted to say that before COVID, we already have like some distributed teams, and we had this challenge, that there are a lot of things that happen on the office, and you forget about the people that are in remote, and it's a lot of complaints always from there, like sharing information, etc. So yeah, I think it's also important to create spaces like these virtual spaces to share information that usually maybe you give more on the office, or sometimes to think also about the technical issues that you can have in the office. If I go to this room, I know that I cannot share my screen, so then if the person is only listening, maybe it's missing part of the presentation because I have a PowerPoint here, so this
same patterns. You're explaining why your idea is good, why your idea is bad, why do you think that's going to work, or why you think it's not. It's not your job. Your job is to give a couple of ideas. And in this scenario, Angel will decide if he picks up on that. If he wants to know more about the idea, he will ask you. He will let you know, right? So same patterns here. I see those are the only things. I'm going to skip to the end now because there's 1 minute left, or maybe we can watch it if you want. But you can clearly see these guys are pros. These guys know what they're doing. They're not doing any of the basic mistakes, like turning off the camera and stuff like that. These guys are not doing any of the basic mistakes. These are pros. I'm just picking on the very small things that differentiate the good with the best, right?
Sometimes happens because there are some technical limitations in the space, or so yeah, it's to keep always this think about that everybody is in remote. And somebody also told me about having always your camera on. But for me, this
there you go.
is like very difficult because it's like a big brother. But you know, like you could know if you are sit on your laptop or if you are not there. Or me, I don't like it, but I don't know what do you think? Like if you are working and you have always your camera, so you can see your other colleagues.
That would be weird. But in my team,
that would be weird. There you have it. Man, if I were your coach, I would hammer you on that.
It's super difficult to do this camera because we have a team meeting like you do, Sergio. Every day we do it only on Monday.
Now that's a great move, Guillermo, right there. You're pulling in Sergio, who is far away from the meeting. That's a great move.
Yes, and I force or try to force people to turn their camera on, but the last 2 months it's only me with the camera on. You know, it's so weird. It's only me, and I try to make the other people to show their faces, but people is like, no. No, it's Monday morning. You know, that kind of thing you can have.
And times. All right. So that's it. That's the feedback that I got for you guys. Now we have like 10 minutes. So we will not be able to do a full coaching session with one of you, but we can have questions. Alvaro and myself will be answering as best as we can. First of all, what do you guys think? These guys are great. Even though I was really picky and I was picking up on them, these guys are doing really good. And in about 18 minutes, we got how many ideas? 6, 7 ideas. It's not bad, but you could optimize that way more and be more efficient and get those 7 ideas in a minute or 2 minutes, right? So you want to speed up and be more efficient.
Alfons, thank you for saying that we are pros. But I have a question related with going direct to the point, because as an engineer, for example, in the past, I used to be always direct to the point. And I also learned in other workshops that sometimes you require a little bit of chat to empathize with the people. So do you know when is the time of empathizing or going direct to the point? Because for me, it's difficult. In this exercise, I was speaking maybe more than usual. For example, with my team, I'm more direct. But I didn't know Teresa, Guille, Sergio. So I was trying to do a little bit of chit-chat for empathizing. How do you recognize when it's not needed?
That is a great question. Actually, the chit-chat goes in the beginning, and it settles nerves down. When you don't know a person, it's like, how are you guys doing? How's your day going? You chit-chat for a while. When you feel that the conversation is good enough, then you go straight to the point, right? The problem by doing that during the meeting is that you're wasting time. But you can do the chit-chat, preferably in the beginning of the meeting. It's like, how are you guys doing? Very nice to meet you. You were the only one that said that. I haven't heard the thank you in the whole video, right? So that's something that you guys should have to work on, right? Definitely. But in the beginning, how's your day going? You guys okay? So, hey, these are the things that I can help with. You guys interested? And when you feel that the conversation is more or less okay, then you start going to the point, right? But once you keep the engine moving, going to the chit chat is a bad idea. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. More questions. If we have questions, we do have chats. Oh, the audio thing. Okay, yep. Sorry.
Yeah, only that question.
More questions? Otherwise, we will be on time.
I'm interested in knowing how you feel after the feedback from Alfons.
I'm sorry.
I feel quite well, to be honest. I love direct feedback. It's the way of improving and being better. Come on. So in my opinion, I feel well. And I think that it was constructive. If it was typical feedback that doesn't add any value, maybe I will complain. But in this case, I think that it has value.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question, and it's about engagement. You talk about Sergio that he was like not in the meeting. When you're like in a long meeting and you're talking like too much time, how to embrace engagement in that meeting again? Like how to participate more, how to become more active in the conversation.
That's a great question. Actually, that can be two things. Number one, Sergio was in the meeting. He was far away in the meeting, meaning that he will speak less, he will feel less involved. He was there probably because he wanted to make a favor to somebody, or because he doesn't want to, I don't know, maybe not disappointing somebody, or maybe because it's late in the night, but his engagement was very low. My suggestion is do not try to engage people. If people are not engaged, stop the meeting. Why are we all going to waste our time? If people are wandering around, hovering around the room and doing nothing, just stop the meeting and say, hey, I don't feel we're making progress today. We're going to move it to tomorrow. And that's fine. Who's going to complain about not going to a meeting?
I have here a topic. I would like to know, Sergio, if that's true, or maybe also the technical problems that you had just before the meeting that you then needed to connect your phone and so on plays some role here.
Well, I think that after seeing me in the video, I can see that I think it was that I exposed my solution from a problem that right now I didn't have. So I exposed my solution, and the rest of the meeting was like going around a point that is not doing nothing for me, because I didn't have this problem right now. We solved it as a company. We solved that problem from the first week, and for me, at time of now, it's super normal to how to manage that. So for me, that this meeting, I received this problem from Guillermo, and when I exposed my solution, for me, the meeting was ended a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm curious about that you are saying, because if it's not a problem for you, but it's a problem, for example, for Guille, in fact, you are the most useful for that meeting, no? For sharing ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that I exposed this solution, and that's it. Maybe it's not right. That I think I go ahead. We solved the problem in that way, and that's it. So we don't have this problem right now.
So maybe, we circle a lot, knowing the same topic all the time, and we didn't move, as was saying Alfons before, like, okay, that's the solutions, let's move to another topic, no? We try to be like very polite, and maybe we weren't very direct, and repeat.
Well, yes. And actually, Guillermo said, okay, that's it for my problem, let's move on. And I think it was you that said, well, I have something to say on top of that. And you gave another idea, and then Angel gave another idea, and the point extended. I believe I remember that. I just watched the video and I completely forgot it. I'm sorry.
Any other question?
Yeah, well, actually, on that, I would say that I felt that I was monopolizing the conversation, and I didn't know how to do because I knew that the point was to help all each other, not just me, and that's why I said that, because but it was already 10 minutes past, so kind of late, but it was my trial.
Again, this is I put them, to be honest here, I put them in a bad spot. They didn't know each other. They didn't know what the meeting is going to be about. And that's why I did it, actually. That's exactly the reason why I did it, right? To see how people behave and how they feel their spaces. And you can see in the first 30 seconds to a minute, personalities just kick in. And you can see how people are mostly going to behave during the meeting. And we were mostly right. So that's good. But I did it on purpose. I know I put you in a bad spot, and I did it for a reason. I did it because when you are used to something, you are performing. If you're doing it daily, you have your script. You go through your script, and I cannot help you because you're following your script. When I put you in a meeting that you don't know anything about, it's when your real you shows up. It's when your flaws are going to show up, and then I am able to help you. That's why I did it. Any other questions? I'm so sorry, guys.
I have one. I joined a little bit late, so yeah. So basically, when every folk was explaining their ideas, you kind of said that you don't need to explain why this idea or why they, what was the reasoning about it. And I'm curious actually to understand why.
Sure. Mainly because the why is very context dependent, meaning that something worked in a context, in your context, doesn't necessarily have to work in my context. Just because Spotify has this whatever technology, that doesn't mean that it's going to work for us. So you don't have to explain why that is a good idea for you, because imagine that it's yourself that is asking for help. I am going to give you my idea without explaining you why, and then you will get that idea, move it around, and see if what part of that idea could fit in your context. And you will decide if you want to accept part of the idea, none of the idea, or the entire idea. But explaining why that is good for me is going to do nothing for you because your context is completely different. The capabilities that you may have, the team that you are working with, the technologies that you use are completely different. It's quote unquote a waste of time. Because I can tell you, imagine that you ask me for help and tell me, I want to improve into being a meta manager. Give me a couple of ideas. Well, I think that this will be good for this, and this. I am not selling anything. I am helping you out. It's going to hey, why don't you ask Alvaro for help? That's it. And you decide if you like Alvaro, if you like the program, if you want to be in that or not, if that's a good idea for you or not, and you will justify yourself the idea that I gave you, but not with my experience, with your experience. That's why I think sometimes it's good when you have to get a team, put it together, and make an agreement. Of course, you need to discuss about these things. But in this scenario, they didn't know each other. They work all in different companies, and their goal is to help each other out.
And actually, because of this reason, I think it's valuable to give the context, right? Because imagine that I get the idea of whoever, and I just apply it to my company, and I see that this idea maybe doesn't work for my company. I just get the idea. I don't know the context. So maybe if I explain the context, you can say, okay, maybe this idea doesn't work for me because, this is a different situation, slightly different situation, or I don't have this specific problem. Without the context, you just get the idea and you need to, reason about it. But maybe you can get already this information by knowing, I have so many developers, I have this specific context, and that worked for me in this situation. And then you can say, okay, then that's not a valid idea. You don't have to go through the process of, okay, this idea will work for me. I need to understand now. And I don't have these people now in front of me to ask them again. I need to imagine myself how this idea will work in my scenario.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. If they want the context, they will ask it. They will ask for it. Exactly. Otherwise, it's your projection. I need to explain why to myself, to justify myself. I give you an idea, ask Alvaro for help. And if you need the context, you will ask for it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Like, if the topic or the goal of the session is helping out, someone has exposed a problem and you need to deliver solutions. Okay, that's the context. Then if they are giving you just solutions, you are taking notes and saying, thank you. You are taking notes, and then you are seeing, okay, what of this can work for me, without judging if it's weird because the privacy, or if something is not going to work because you are not using chat tools, whatever it is, you keep for you. You just take notes of everything. And then when you see something that can work, or you are not sure if it can work, then you go back to that person. Then the efficiency that has been talking about all the time, Alfons, is like maximized, because you are just taking the ideas you see by yourself without them employing any time. How can it work for me? And then if you see that something can be working, then you come back for more information, context, or whatever. And then you are just engaging with one person, and the others doesn't need to be there just I don't know, being told a context that maybe is not working for them, because the session is to help out, right?
Yeah, and we're not saying that it doesn't help out. It obviously does. Let me ask you this: what does help out more, having more ideas or the context of one?
I mean, to me, the why is not only about the context, but it's also about why this idea makes sense. So I can tell you, like, give me ideas. Okay, talk to, I don't know what was the problem. I can tell you, talk to this person, and you can say, okay, I can take this idea, but why this idea is useful? Why do you think this is helpful for me? I need to explain why this idea. And I would say, because if you talk to these people, you can get this. I don't know, maybe we're thinking that it's a different one, but I consider that explaining why an idea is a good idea can help the other person to actually
the only one that helps
they
you.
are doing.
The only one that helps is you to justify that your idea is good. The other person hasn't asked for that. If they want to know more, they will ask.
Well, then we have, I guess, different points of view, but it's okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And I would like to know, because you said, Alfons, that why is not the right question in this kind of context, but only this kind of context.
Yes, because why can bring you to the past. And the past is a dangerous place. Yeah. Because the past can't be changed, but you can blame in the past. It's better to ask what for. What do you want to get out of this? What are we going to do in the future, which is actually what you can do? Change the future. You cannot change the past. So it depends on the context. But in this context, you have to be very careful with the why. Because if the person goes back to the past, oh my God, that's going to bring up some emotions that you don't want in a meeting.
Great. Thank you for the question and the reflections, Javi. I was also wanted Alfons to confirm about this why, because at the end, it's such useful question that I didn't know if it's only for this kind of context or not. I wanted to clarify. So I think we can just wrap up in 3-4 minutes, Alfons, if you want, like the main ideas, because at the end we have seen all the video, we have been repeating 13 topics, but I would like to have a wrap up. I think it will be really useful for the session about the main topics in this context.
Sorry?
Yeah, no. Coming from your side, if you want to wrap up, like the main.
Oh, myself. I thought you wanted to wrap up. I'm sorry. No. No, it's fine. It's fine. What I actually do is, well, you said, right? This is part of the training that you will be experiencing with Alvaro. Is a bunch of CTOs that are going to train you, and every single one of them is going to train you their own way, right? So giving you feedback, trying to improve, trying to be better. And this is something that people ask me for a lot about how could we improve the meetings? That's a very common topic. So actually, I've done like 6 or 7 this week. So this is something that I do a lot. So if you guys are interested, let us know. We would be more than happy to do more of these and help you out.
No, I mean the takeaways.
Oh, the key takeaways. Just pay attention to what you do.
I have pointed out some of them in my notes, but I think it's better if you just go through them. These 3-4 topics to be aware of.
Sure. Just try to make the most impact with the time that you have. That's one of them, right? In a meeting, when we're going to spend together like an hour, right? You want to optimize that. You want to get the most value out of it. Think of every sentence that you say. Is that going to bring value? Or is there something else that I can say that's going to bring more value? And pick the thing that's going to bring more value to the team. That's the main principle key. And then you can, break it down into do not explain these or do not explain that, right? It's because your time is very important. And as a manager, you do a lot of meetings. As a CTO, you spend most of your day in meetings. And a meeting is a match for a player. It's when you show up. It's when you put yourself in there. So think about what you do. Review yourself. Record yourself if possible. See the mistakes that you make. Improve and get better. You need to reflect on that.
Great. So thumbs up. I would like to end up, as always, with this roti feedback. Today, I finally was able to enable polls in Zoom. I will send it right now. And you should see the response is anonymous. And I would like you to say how useful it was this time invested in this hour, this session for you from 1 to 5, being 5 the maximum, being 1 the minimum, right? Feel free to give us the feedback because at the end, it was a different session. I think it's something a bit different from the others. And we would like to know if this is as useful as the others or not, or more or less. Thank you. Like 7311 is 12 people, is the majority of the room right now. Okay, thank you very much. Great. Then it's done. I would like to end just saying thank you, Alfons, and many thank you for this reflection about how we can get better at meetings and how coaching can be powerful to really analyze our own mistakes and things that we can improve. And a special thank yous to the stars today, Teresa, Sergio, Guille, and Angel. You have been really exposed right at the beginning, Alfons said, but right now is when we realize how exposed you have been in this session. I hope that you really enjoyed and you really learned something to take away at the end. Some of the things are suppositions. We had just 10 minutes or 15 minutes of meeting of you guys not knowing each other. So just take the feedback. We will be there in the Slack community. And my last message is that this is also the essence of what we will be doing in the master. At the end is reflecting all together, having these kind of sessions and being really exposed in order to improve much more than the typical way of learning. And I just want to say that next week, I think on Monday, we will be revealing a surprise for this first edition of the master that will only happen for those that are in the community. I know most of you are already there, but just in case that some of you are not there, I would encourage you to join because we will reveal something that is important for you if you are planning to keep growing as a manager, as a leader in tech. And it will be just on the community. So I will just leave the link just in case someone want to join because you have not joined yet. It's here, lidr.co/community. Do you know that we had a very long way revealing the new website and the new promotional video where all the trainers that are going to be there finally show up, and this will happen next week. Keep engaged and see you in the next CTO Insider meeting. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.